Hey, what's up everybody? I'm DJ Alex Brown here today for Shehds Lights doing a review of this 200 watt warm and cool light LED COB chip on board blinder. So we're going to take a deep dive into this light. I'm actually going to turn it off for a minute and turn some house lights on because this thing is really bright and it's going to completely wash out the camera if I leave it on. So bear with me one sec. So first, let's take a look at the front of this light. This light has a decorative level to it, so you have the two eyes in the front with each has two LEDs inside of it, so it has a COB warm light and a COB cool light on each side, so each side can independently also be controlled. I'll show you what that looks like a little bit later in the video. This is obviously a 2-eye blinder. You could always stack these if you need to do 4, but I do kind of like the look of the 2, and at 200 watts, this is plenty enough for a lot of the shows that I'll be handling. You can see you can also put it vertical, just depends on how you want to mount it. On the back here, you can see I have a clamp installed. I'll show you some video. I used this for a Halloween party I had a couple days ago, so I'll show you some real video of using it. I realized after the fact that I actually had it in the wrong DMX mode, but it still looked great, still worked great. So I'm not too concerned about that. And I did also use my ADJ WMX to program these in, which when I start to run you through the modes, I will show you that. But I do have a ton of tutorial videos on the WMX and DMX for beginners, so make sure you check those out as well. I'll put a card over here. So fairly standard here on the back. You have DMX in, DMX out, 3-pin only. You have PowerCon in and out, and then you have your typical 4-button display with a 4-character LCD, and you have the little Shehds logo posted above this, and then you also have the Shehds manufacturer sticker on the side. Now this is, and of course you have your fan right here. This is all metal construction all the way around. I think just this piece right here is plastic, and there is a little plastic protective lens so you can't stick your finger into the LEDs in there, so nothing can really get in there. This light is not waterproof, so just a good thing to know. This is a fairly simple light, very affordable. I'll throw the exact cost up on the screen, but at the time that this video is getting posted, should be right around when Shehds is coming out with their Black Friday sale. So I will also leave you guys a code and link in the description, as well as I'll put that up on the screen here with the Black Friday discount. It's usually the best discounts that Shehds runs throughout the year is usually around Black Friday. So definitely, if you're thinking about buying these, make sure you buy them around Black Friday for the best deals. If you couldn't already tell by me moving the yoke on this light around, it does have a single adjustable yoke. Very simple, very straightforward, easy for anyone to use. On the back, while it does not come with a clamp in the box, I do have another Shehds clamp laying around that I put on it for my party. And there are 3 different clamp mounting holes, or you can do 2 clamps and a safety cable. So let's talk about what comes in the box. So first of all, this is the box. Pretty typical size box for this size light. It does come disassembled. It takes about 30 seconds to put the screws in the sides and get the bracket on. Not very much time at all. Super easy to assemble. I didn't have to look at any instructions or anything like that. Of course, you get your user manual, which is pretty straightforward. There's 2 different DMX channels on this, which I'll explain in a moment. You get your PowerCon cable. It is a pretty good quality PowerCon cable. It is only maybe 3 or 4 feet long though, so just something to be aware of. And then you also get a DMX cable, again about 3 or 4 feet, probably like 3 feet long. Now I just want to go through the manual quickly before we get into actually taking a look at what this light can do with DMX and everything. So it's literally 4 pages, front, back, and inner fold. A little bit of product information, and then you have the display manual for the different control settings on the display, which I'm going to go through in a moment. And then you have the first DMX mode, and the second DMX mode. And I'm going to explain to you how to switch between those on this light, because it's not the same as some other lights I've used. And I actually learned things about other lights I have from using this light, so I thought that was very interesting. And if you actually just look at it and read it, you'll find that it tells you exactly that. So I want to quickly talk about the fan. I'm just going to take this mic and put it to the fan. You can hear the fan running, and it seems to run pretty much consistently, but I don't think it's obnoxiously loud by any means. This is, I'm just going to stop talking for a sec, let you hear the fan, and then I'll put the mic up to it, but it's not, the mic's not going to give you a good idea of what it sounds like in a room. It really doesn't sound any louder than like a typical moving head fan running at full speed. So I don't think you need to worry about that. Okay, so I'm hoping you can see the display on this light and then the LEDs on this light. So I'm basically going to master slave control this light from this one. I have DMX going out, and this one is set to DMX address 1 so that it can be a slave. So these are your two DMX modes. And then we have full on. This is full brightness. You might be able to hear the fan just spooled up a little bit, but not by very much. This is what the color looks like. It's kind of like a daylight white with both the warm white and cool white on. And then this display works kind of like a RGBW, and it controls each LED in each light. So there's basically 4. For example, you can see that now the top light, cool white, has been turned off. And then if I go to G, it's going to turn the cool white off on the bottom light. And then B, warm white off on the top light. And U, or white, warm white off on the bottom light. So super simple. Now we got strobe, and we're going to skip this before I have a seizure. The color programs that would be typical for, say, a wash light, they just go through the different options on the light. So we'll start with the top LED, and then go to the bottom. Top warm white, bottom warm white, both cool white, top warm and cool, and then there's just a couple different options we can go through here. Next is color change, so you can see it's just going through a color program now, and it's just going through different options there. Pretty straightforward. If you just want it to auto run, not have to think too much about it, you can absolutely put it on this, and then I'd just hit enter to save. I'm not sure what DE stands for, but this is just kind of a color change but with like a slow pulse to it, which might be better for blinders. That's more typical to what you would see. And then we have color programs, which kind of pulse more so than like a fade. So you can see they just kind of pulse. This is very typical of blinders. And then you have sound active. So you can see if I tap it, very responsive, just goes through. And you can change the level of sound active. Let's talk for just a second about what blinders are for. Blinders are kind of a wash effect light that generally are going to wash out the lighting for the entire crowd. You'll see these on festivals, EDM events a lot. A lot of times it'll just be a quick pulse and then they're off. You can also strobe with them. You can do a ton of other things with these blinders. But if you're a lighting designer, obviously it's not a moving head light. It's kind of a complementary effect to moving head and wash lights. It will light up the entire crowd. Now, you could use this to wash a stage pretty easily because they're pretty bright and they're kind of like a frontal light. But obviously that's not the intended purpose, if that makes sense. Now, let's take a look at the DMX for this light. So I did have to make a couple adjustments to the profile because I just got a generic profile for this on the WMX, and that's also pretty common with the WMX profiles. But I have it just blacked out right now We can turn it on. I have a live edit set to just make it pulse. So I have this live edit set to just go. Now, if I hit blinder because of the live edit, it won't actually do anything here. But if I turn the live edit off, I have it set so that if I hit blinder, you just get a typical blinder. Now, of course, you have your dimmer. I do have this in 8-channel control mode. What we can do is go down and adjust the speed in 8-channel mode. You can adjust the color program. You can adjust the shutter, of course. So here's different speeds of the shutter. Now to get it to pulse, you would have to use the color program, it seems. And then you can control each LED as well. So you can see I'm adding the cool white right now. Cool white on the other one, and then I have it set to default to have both ambers on, or both 1.5, and then you have full dimming capability as well. And that's it. It's a pretty simple light. Of course, on the WMX strobe, and adjust the strobe based on what program it's already running behind it, which is very cool. So if you've not tried out the ADJ WMX, awesome controller, a Wolf Mix if you're outside of the US. And yeah, so let's black this out for a moment. What do I think of these lights? I think these blinders are absolutely awesome. I was actually looking for blinders when Shehds reached out to me asking if I would do a review of these for you guys. So I was actually already in the market. The timing was perfect. But as I've started to do larger light shows and do more complicated things that the WMX has allowed me to do without adding too much complication, I've been adding blinders, I've been adding other practical effects lights, light tubes, uplights, the whole thing. And these specifically are super easy for any DJ to use and add to any setup. You could add these to a wedding, mount them under your speakers if you're using speaker poles, and just have a very typical like program run or sound active or something, and you're gonna have a great light show. So I think these are great for anyone. Is the blinder the right choice for everyone? Maybe not. Some people might like a blinder, some people might not. So if you're in the market for a blinder, definitely get these. Shehds has recently celebrated 10 years of being in business, so they have a lot of experience with these things, and I've been very happy with all the Shehds lights that I've been reviewing, and these are a must-buy, 5 out of 5 stars. If you're in the market for blinders, Shehds is the best place to get these, so check them out. Like I said, link in the description, and we'll put the Black Friday sale in there as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave me a thumbs up on the video. Consider subscribing to my channel for more videos. And until next time, peace.